Welcome Rangers to the GenAI series by DevDrops. So in this particular series, we are going to look into a piece of technology where we will change our fundamental perspective how we used to talk with our databases. Previously, we used to talk with our databases only through one language, that is SQL. So let's jump into this particular technology and how exactly it works. So what I feel is like everyone might have faced this issue in their day-to-day things. It's like very hard to get your answers from your own data sets. You might have very clear questions and very clear requirements, but getting those answers from your data sets is too difficult. So why exactly this is happening? If you see this particular image particularly shows us what exactly is being the gap between those things. For example, the left is the business requirement, which he has a very clear, specific business requirement, which is in the natural language, which is English. On the right, if you see, which is our databases, which only speaks the SQL language. So if you see, these both are two different worlds, and one doesn't speak SQL and the other doesn't speak English. So this is the translation gap or the major roadblock which we need to solve. So this particular roadblock is being solved with the help of the Cortex Analyst. So this is the hero for this story. So what exactly this Cortex Analyst will do and how it is interpreting our natural language and whatever we whatever we speak uh, and you speak in your own language and get your insights at that instant. In this particular Cortex Analyst, you speak your own language and get your instance instantly. What exactly this Cortex Analyst is not, this Cortex Analyst is nothing but it is powered by some of the LLMs at the back end. So you don't need to write any SQLs. LLMs will be writing your SQL on behalf of you. You might have a question like how this particular LLMs might know or my company terminology, or how will it interpret my English into this SQL. So how we'll look into this. So the main translator or the main secret sauce or the main magic ingredient is the semantic layer. How this semantic this is the this is the semantic layer which helps the AI to understand what exactly your corporate language and what exactly is in the database. So what exactly is in the semantic layer is like we teach the semantic layer, we teach the company's terminology to the semantic layer. For example, if you want to calculate profit, we'll teach the semantic layer. It's like amount minus cost is nothing but the profit. So AMT minus CST. We might be storing our columns as AMT and CST. So these type of a particular corporate or company's logics are to be stored in the semantic layer so as that LLMs can understand and write the sequels based on top of this semantic model or a view. So if you see how this semantic layer is built, it's not simply a blueprint. It's like all the blueprint have been connected to each other. For example, if you see it, if you have some of the queries, for example, if you have some of the queries, you that queries are also stored so as and like called as verified queries, and there are some other things like in that particular table itself you need to understand. In the semantic layer, you need to teach your AI what exactly is your business. So what is the dimension in your business, what is the facts, or what is the metrics, or what are your custom instruction. For example, you need only two decimal point, you need to give it as a custom instruction to the semantic model. How exactly we build the trustworthy, this is the major thing. uh, g- this is the main advantage of the Snowflake. When we use the Snowflake, the data does not travel behind the Snowflake. The data lies in our Snowflake inside itself, and you're able to get your insights. So how exactly this trustworthy? So for example, in the previous session we saw like how semantic layers are built. On top of that, we can also verify some of the queries so that the AI can redirect some of the queries which looks very similar to the verified queries and give the results instantly. And you can also specify some of the custom instructions or custom rules like only give two decimals or three decimals, or only hide the mobile numbers whenever it's possible. And this verified query repository actually helps us to improve the accuracy and trustworthiness in this particular things of the SQL. The good thing is the loop which is being included. For example, the AI also, the Cortex Analyst AI also sees the number of questions or the repeating questions from the reporting users and suggest the users to, if it is good, suggest the users to store it as a verified query so that it can directly fetch the result when any other when any other reporting users comes. You can also integrate this particular Cortex API with the existing systems which you already built with the help of the API. For the developers, it is very easy since it simply needs three things. One is your question, what exactly you want from the Cortex Analyst. The second thing is which translator need to be used, which particular semantic model it means. And the third thing is, do you need a streaming response or a static response? Streaming response is something like, transferring the data in chunks kind of a thing, so that transferring the data in kind of a chunks kind of a thing. Whenever the business reports have something to get from the database, they need to rely on the data teams, and data teams used to be our bottlenecks, and we used to totally mostly depend on the data teams. Now with the help of this, the bottleneck will be reduced, and they can users can themselves can self service and get instantaneous results and check on this. So we'll dive into the live demo and look into this how exactly we can use this Cortex Analyst.